So, do you want to do the intro?
Yeah, what was it, 12? 11?
No, 12. This was
12?
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 12 of the Still Wondering podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And we are brothers. We're both in our 30s, figuring life out. And that's what this podcast is all about.
Fabulous.
And this week we've got a party coming up at the end of this week, haven't we?
We have a social engagement.
A social engagement. And,
Very popular.
and we thought, why not? The Post-its are gone. So we've sort of run out of themes for a little while. We thought,
We didn't run out of Post-its. It was just the themes were running thin.
Yes.
And we're only 12. What was it? 11?
12. So.
Yeah, so we... Go on. Sorry, you're halfway through, so I completely...
I can't remember what it was. That's how void we are now. Like, it's 12 in and it's just...
They say podcasts finish at... not many... I think it's about like 80% of all podcasts don't make it past the 10th episode.
Is that true?
So we've surpassed that. We're in the top 20. Or something like that. I don't know the exact maths.
I mean, I'm not really into podcasts, if I'm honest. Like... the one I did like was Alan Carr's travel one he's been doing.
Okay.
He started that during sort of lockdowns and he's been carrying on. But that's quite funny. One, because he generally has comedians on. Mm-hmm. And secondly, because he's talking about travelling and stuff, which is generally quite interesting. So, but that's really the only podcast that I listen to with any vague regularity, yeah?
I've listened to loads. The Dropout, Death in Ice Valley, The Crypto Queen...
Wow.
What was the other ones? There's loads like murdery documentaries. Case File.
You played me some one time. I can't remember. I think we were coming back from driving somewhere, going somewhere, and you played me these murder mystery stories.
Like, probably Case File.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, super good. There's like over 200 of those now.
Oh wow! Yeah. So they managed it past episode 10.
It's like the most successful murder mystery like podcast out there.
Wow.
It's called Case File. It's by an Australian chap that does the thing is, the way he does it as well is really like monotonous, but it's very listenable. You don't get irritated with his voice because it's just very kind of structured storytelling.
Okay.
It's very good.
Do you think ours has that same sort of appeal?
No. Oh, no. But we haven't done any research. We're not talking about a murder that's real. We're talking... No, we don't even talk about murders, are we? We're talking about our own stuff.
Yeah, and there's no scripting.
No, as you can tell.
Yes, and, you can definitely tell.
Ooh, no scripting. It's not well worded. We don't know words.
we don't know. We don't talk grammar grid.
Sorry. We're going to a party. Yeah. And we both asked you the same question. Are we looking forward to it? We both said, well, yeah, but... That's what I said.
Yeah. Well, you're looking forward to it in a sense, but there's always this party anxiety, and I know exactly where you're coming from. Because we talked about this thing, we're both don't mind getting on stage and doing things and being a centre of attention, but it's very much on our terms. We're not the sort of people that goes into crowded rooms and goes, "Hi everyone, shake hands. Hi, how's you doing? How's the cat?
Yeah.
Isn't the weather awful?
Let me tell my anecdote. Everyone gather round. Yeah, oh God, that's my hell.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at telling. I don't have any anecdotes. I'm just not good at telling anecdotes.
You've been telling them on this podcast.
I mean, the listeners will know how bad I am then. In a party environment, it's like suddenly like all the laser beams are on me, and I don't have the shield of magic or anything like that. It's just me trying to tell, and I'm stumbling through it. I tell the wrong bits at the wrong time. Nobody cares, and I can't articulate myself, and I then want to run away because the anecdote was boring or shit.
It's probably not as bad as you. It probably doesn't land as badly as you think it lands.
I mean,
I don't know. Write in. I mean,
if you know me and you know my anecdotes, then write in and like shred my characters to pieces.
There's another opportunity, everyone, to get the keyboard out and assassinate.
But yeah, I think it's the social. I think it's that thing of going to a party and then having. I quite like to sit down and just observe and watch, and if the topic rolls round to me. I don't know, it's like this superficial gossipy vibe that I'm not very good at. I'm happy listening to gossip, but getting involved in it, I try not to where possible. And it just doesn't really. I'm not into reality television. I'm not into any of that kind of make believe. Oh, and then Susan said, and she knows that I don't like cats. No, it's like, oh, my brain starts to melt, and I just want to run away and to shoot myself in the face. It does not interest me in the slightest. Of trying to second guess what other people think because they looked at me in a certain way and they flicked their hair over the right shoulder. That must mean that she's into you. It's like, no, just ask her. Just
really?
Go direct and get the facts.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just always out for interpretation. It's and people talking about it. It just I don't know. I'm sort of second guessing myself, but I mean, I pick up on people's body language and stuff, but I don't start gossiping about it and second guessing and turning that into conversation.
Yeah.
I'd much rather know, like, so what have you learnt this week, or what are you working on, or being some sort of creative problem solving,
right,
or philosophical discussion, like a proper conversation, which has some kind of outcome.
So it's the small talk you're not so keen on.
Yeah, it's just absolute rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I think I'm okay at it. Maybe I can be a perpetrator at times because it is a sort of social lubricant, isn't it? Particularly early in the evening when you first get there, and it's all just kind of, oh, how did you find the A14? Oh, yes, that turning to Will Burton. I mean, it's just a death trap.
I don't even know anymore. I followed the sat nav.
But you do it. You do it just to grease those wheels into the evening, and then once people have had a couple of beers, then you find that they get.
What is the meaning of life?
Yeah, exactly. It's always the best conversations are at 1, 2 in the morning when people are kind of already hungover from the night, and they start talking about
True. It's been a very long time since I've had those, but it's very true, actually.
Yeah.
Very true. Out on the smokers area or whatever.
Oh, smokers are always the best talkers.
Yeah.
That's where the action happens.
It is. Genuinely, that's the one thing that I miss. I used to smoke, but that's probably the one thing I do miss about smoking and going out. I don't really go out anymore. It's funny, I was at my tea room, and the girl that works there said, "So what are you up to this evening?" I said, "Well, no." This is yesterday, by the way, not tonight. I was in my head.
Rude.
No. Because in my, I was just about to say my answer, and then I thought you might think that happened today. It was yesterday. Funny enough, like today, I had it primed. I was like, if you ask me today, then I can actually tell her something I'm doing that's interesting. So I don't seem like a fucking bore.
Yeah.
But yeah, she said, "So what are you up to?" And I went, nothing. Like my life clearly isn't that interesting.
Oh.
I've got nothing to report.
Yeah.
Just completely. And the show, don't you see friends like? Yeah, I've got a few mates that live nearby, and we see each other maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
And then I've got colleagues and like magic friends in the industry, which I'll go and see at a magic thing, or like every now and again we'll go out for lunch or whatever, and I'll go drive down. But they're not like they live locally. And I'm quite happy living in my own little bubble and having a little routine, and that's enough for me. Whereas some people have to go out and.
I think most people's lives are boring. I think there's a stilted view we get, particularly social media, isn't it? Yeah. Or if
you've got that outlet as well.
Yeah.
Be social media.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And I think some people they conflate the two, don't they? Social media and being social, and they forget which one's which sometimes. But I think most people's lives are pretty much as boring as our lives. Because I know what you mean. When people say, like at work, "Oh, what are you doing tonight?" I was like, "Well, I'll have dinner." So
the way you said the delivery was brilliant. Well, I'll have dinner. I'm using that. That's brilliant.
It's guaranteed.
That's like news. Well, I'll be having dinner.
Which means, turning the oven on, unpacking the pizza, taking the cellophane off. If I'm feeling decadent, I might add a bit more cheese. So we're talking, it's about 10 minutes of my life.
So 10 minutes?
How much detail do you want,
I love that aspect of just showing off. Like saying something in a show-off tone, which is very mundane.
Yeah.
I really like that. I'm nicking that comedy tool.
Yeah.
Well, I will get home.
Yeah, well, I shall go home. I'll be having dinner. And then it's either a choice of BBC iPlayer or Netflix. Just to see out the night.
Yeah. If I'm feeling fancy.
I'll do an episode from each.
Yeah.
So that's normal. And when you could go and be really social, and maybe we don't do it enough. Maybe that's the problem. If we do that more, or if we don't do it very often, I think. Well, certainly,
that's a good point.
I find that I sort of think, oh, this is unusual. It's an unusual thing to do rather than a typical thing to do.
Yeah.
Like when we were teenagers, every weekend there was somebody having something.
Someone was over or we were out somewhere.
Yeah, house parties were like the thing. So I guess you get, if you think about it too, but you have a couple of Bacardi breezes and then you were drunk and then you just talk rubbish.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to go back to those days. What do you reckon? Bacardi breezes.
I don't want to go back to those days, but I think socialising more. Like I was quite lucky, and I think you were as well. I had quite a big group of friends when we were in our teens.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, we kind of shared friends. Like we got along with each other's friends, which is really cool. But I think there is something to be said for just going around people's and socialising more. Because I think social media kind of, I'm thinking about it now, I don't conflict the two, but I think the social media gives me like an outlet to tell myself the story that I've engaged with another person today.
Right.
So on some level, it's filling in some kind of social void, I assume. Whereas if I didn't have any social media at all, no contact or seeing what other people are up to, I'd probably feel a lot more lonely and isolated. So I think it is kind of like a lens into a world of feeling like you've been social but not actually being social. So I'm not gaining the skill set of social. Yeah. I'm just fulfilling the feeling of being social. Which I don't think is a good thing, actually. Now I'm talking about it.
Well, how do people respond? They either like it or love it or they leave a comment perhaps, but it's not a very real interaction, is it? It's a very constricted interaction.
And it's inauthentic as well. Because you can like something passively. I could go through my feed and just passively like loads of stuff.
Oh, yeah. We've all done it thinking, oh, so-and-so said something. I'm not even going to read it, but I'll like it just to show.
I don't do that.
I don't really.
I'm quite strict with that, actually.
Really? You just would like it?
Yeah, I read things and it has to impress me, otherwise. Yeah, I read things and don't like it. It's
really?
Unless I really like it.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
No, I'm too self-conscious. Like they'll see that if I haven't liked something, and then not that they're ever going to say anything, but what if you were challenged to say, did you not see my post about blah blah blah, and you go yeah I saw it, and go, oh, I didn't see you'd liked it, and then we gonna do that.
The thing is though, you're trapped now in the liking system. Because now people anticipate, Chris will definitely like it.
Oh yeah.
So when you stop liking it, they're like, what's up with Chris? He's falling out with me because he's not liking all my posts. Whereas for me, it's like, he never liked anything anyway. Oh, you like that one? Oh, I've got some sort of shining, gleaming approval.
Like a medal.
Yeah.
One of Matt's medals.
Yeah. That's a better position to be in rather than...
It is far more...
I will like everything. I'm stuck in this loop.
Like me.
But you can never not... You'd have to wean off of it, so you get replaced by somebody else. Okay then.
All right. Well, to any friend, I mean, no, none of them are going to watch this, but to anybody that might see this, I apologise. I'm not liking your stuff anymore, unless I really do like it. And if you don't like it, then it's his fault.
Well, there you go. Save literally minutes of your thumb energy.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's something to be said there for social media, sort of giving a lens in. But I would like to go around people's houses and hang out. I just don't think it's a thing you do in your 30s. That's just...
Yeah.
My friends have partners. They probably want to spend time with their partners. They're either married, have kids. They've got stuff to do. And I think people... I don't know, there's something about being in early 20s where you kind of just... You're still living at home. It's an opportunity to see loads of people together and get away from whose ever house you're over with your partner. So it's kind of like, whereas when you've got a place on your own and you're both working, I think it probably is more taxing to go, we have to have someone over. That means that the place needs to look somewhat presentable. We need to be on some kind of mental form. And we're going to have to spend our finite amount of time together that we have each week with somebody else in our presence, which maybe we don't, rather take the less friction option here and stay in our underpants and sit watching telly with the prospect of potential sex. If we invite someone over, that's all out the window, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
So I think that's probably the way it goes in your 30s.
Yeah, that's true. Any of the opportunities probably better than.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably the narrative, though, isn't it? It's, I don't know. I would love to go around people's houses and hang out and just talk about nothing and dick around or watch a documentary together or whatever with people. But yeah, that just doesn't happen.
Not much. Because we don't do the small talk thing, do we? We just kind of sit down, have a cup of tea and just watch stand-up comedy. We chat about anything, bounce ideas off each other. And but it's not like that, like if you're going to a party with people that you don't see that regularly, you kind of met once or twice, or maybe a bit more, but they're not people that you know that well. You might know what their job is, you might know that they've got kids or whatever.
I find that difficult,
and that's always a difficult space, because you've got to do the small talk really, rather than just go in and go, so what do you make of the political, blah blah blah.
Oh, avoid politics. Yeah. Politics and religion are out the window with those interactions, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're genuinely curious.
Because
otherwise it just turns into combative.
Yeah, you really got to feel like it's a safe space to bring up those kind of conversations. Because you just might get somebody that's suddenly got a very forceful view. Yeah. And it's just not the right environment.
The atmosphere completely.
Yeah.
Kills it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find out, our mate whoever is, turns out, a bit of a racist.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not the place to find out.
No, it's not.
Whilst there's nibbles being handed out.
It's completely mental, that friend. I didn't know that about them.
I wish we'd done that before they were invited.
They were invited to the party. And they brought along... and they brought along the weird vegan option. I can't say that now. I've said it.
It's very common now. Very, very, very common.
I've got nothing against that. In fact, I went out with a friend on the weekend. We went to a vegan restaurant.
Oh,
and I actually respect it more now because of how difficult it is to be vegetarian or vegan. It's a really difficult decision to make. I tried to turn vegetarian. I know it's just taking a turn to this conversation. I tried to turn vegetarian for a short period of time, and it kind of worked. And then I got very lazy. But I think my overall view on it is I'm probably eating less meat than I was, so I'm not consuming as much meat as I used to. Although thinking about it now, I probably have been over the last few weeks. But as a rule. Yeah, I'm just defending my comment about calling out vegans. That's all that was.
Vegan is
virtue signalling there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have less, because I'm a martyr. I'm a hero, you might say, a modern day hero. Yeah, I don't have meat every day now.
Right.
I know. I should get a medal for that, shouldn't I? But it was something. Growing up, that was. It would been unthinkable not
Very
to
odd.
have had meat. Yeah, we had some kind of meat for every meal. It's just how it was. But I think the term is flexitarian, where you're sort of.
I don't want another term from it.
I think that's it. I could be wrong. Maybe we'll get corrected. Who knows? But
I just eat less meat. I don't eat
less meat. Yeah. That's it.
You're more woke with the words.
Oh, you know me. I'm down with the kids and then.
You work in an office with a team. You probably
I know.
These.
Most of whom are younger than me and correct me in all my.
There you go. In your lack of wokeness
every day. You can't say that.
God, eat less meat. Who's this guy?
Yeah, he's Grandad. Grandad over there.
Grandad's in. I'm sitting in my 30s.
I know. I made some. I can't remember. I wish I could remember what it was. Make some reference to Gremlins.
Yes.
Gremlin. I said, something wasn't working. I said, I must have Gremlins in it. And they're like, what's a Gremlin?
Oh, God.
Really? It was a heart-sinking moment. It really, really was a heart-sinking moment. And also finding out that emojis were no longer cool. And
are they no longer cool?
No longer cool. Not at all. No.
I still send emojis. Does that mean I'm not cool?
No, you're not cool. Emojis are gone. Well, they're not gone. They're still there, but using them is gone. You now do if you want to do smiley face, you do like a colon and a.
How we used to do it.
Yeah.
How we did it before.
And I pointed this out to the person that told me. They're like, shrugged it off.
So they didn't know that?
They didn't know that. And I said, well, that's where emojis came from. That was the...
God.
That's just the circle of life. So
it really is circular. Everything.
Yeah.
Records are back.
Absolutely. I'm gonna keep using emojis because I know that in 5-10 years' time, I'll be in vogue again.
At some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. The clock tells the right time twice a day, doesn't it?
That's it.
Yeah. So just keep on doing it, and you'll be right at least once more in your life.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you can really shine.
No, that's my moment to shine. That's why I never chuck clothes away either. Or if you watched the first episode, I just take them on holiday and burn them.
It's true.
Put them in the bin.
That's a good hack.
It's a way of saving space.
It's an excellent episode. Why have you not listened to it already?
Oh, brilliant.
Great hack.
It's an hour long.
Yeah.
So you need some stamina.
We did learn that. You could double speed it and do it in half an hour. If you're like sort of, if you're listening to this, and have you discovered the double speeding?
Yeah. You showed me.
Life changing. Absolutely, you can watch something at double speed, and you'll think it sounds crazy, but after about 30 seconds in, you will be able to comprehend what they're saying quite easily. And then when you slow it back down, it's like it's really torturous to listen to something.
Really?
Yeah. So if you listen to an audio book or a podcast or watching a YouTube video, double speed it, save your life.
That's really good. Maybe we should give that tip at the start of each of our episodes.
Well, maybe we should. Yeah, if you're new here, double speed this.
And it might make it bearable.
It cuts out the ums and the ahs.
Yeah. It's funny you say that actually, because we did have we had a gentleman do like a training session. He was from a charity called Campsite. So they're a charity that for people that are visually impaired. And he came with his guide dog, and we were playing this thing called goal ball, which is it's like a ball with bells in.
Okay.
And so it's like you throw the ball, and there's like a goal, and it's like an adapted sport, or a sport adapted for people that are visually impaired. But he's got using his mobile phone, but it's all done on audio. And we kept looking round, like me and a colleague, just going, "What's that noise?" There's this blah, 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 blah. And it was the chap listening to his phone, but he listens to it at like 4 times speed or something. So to us, it just sounded like a noise, but because he's so attuned to that speed, he perfectly understand it.
He was listening to like a book or something?
Like instructions, or I can't even remember what it was.
4 times speed?
It's something like that. It was at a speed that made it
you couldn't
barely recognisable as language.
Wow.
But he's just so attuned to it. And that was fascinating.
Wow.
So he'd probably listen to double speed that you've been listening to and go, "Oh, why is it so slow?"
Yeah. That's nuts. I mean, I've got friends that have treble sped things, and I think that's crazy. On audiobooks, I think you can get up to like ×3.
Oh, really?
I've tried it, and it's just like, ooh, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So double speed is enough for me. And even double speed on some books, if you've got somebody with an accent that's reading the book, it's harder, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saving time. Like the it's about kind of compressing the information and knowledge. If you just want to listen for leisure, then listen for leisure.
Yeah.
But if you just want to get to the information quickly and just absorb from that, then it's worthwhile. Yeah,
it probably doesn't work so well with like those bedtime stories that are supposed to calm you into restful nights. So you probably should.
Story's over in about 10 minutes. I'm still awake.
Still awake. I feel quite stressed.
Listening to white noise at treble speed, just
or whale noises.
Listening to crickets at 3 times speed. Or whatever the fuck that would sound like.
That's not what crickets sound like. A cacophony of noise.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an idea.
That's like white noise on white noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whales at treble speed. It's always literally like snow on the TV. Just anything at a certain point will sound like that.
Yeah. Just,
oh man.
There's an idea.
Yeah.
So what have we concluded from
I don't know. We went on a proper tangent.
You can listen to things fast to absorb more information.
You can listen to things fast. it's a good idea to eat less meat.
Yeah.
We think.
Yeah.
What else?
And
being social. That was what
yeah,
the
being
whole thing
social.
was.
Try and be social, even though it's a bit painful. I think it's roughly where we were. Yeah.
Just on that, I know we've running into time, but on that note of social engagements and sort of conversations, I once had a friend of mine say, a friend of mine. I don't see him very often, but I consider him a friend. And they said they sort of observed me and said, "You're kind of, what was the word? You're intense but relaxed."
Okay.
As a that was like their kind of view on me. Like, you're an intense individual, but you're relaxed.
Okay.
And I kind of got that as well. I didn't take it as I don't think I took it as an insult. Did I take it as I don't think I did. It's kind of made me reflect and think about it.
Yeah.
I think that's probably fairly accurate, because I quite like to have a proper conversation and talk about things which are going to be some sort of productive on some level, whether it's growing as a person or understanding more about another person or whatever. But I think generally speaking, I'm quite a relaxed individual. And energy-wise, I don't think I'm quite high energy and pumped all the time. And I think bodily, I'm quite relaxed.
I think that's true. I would say I don't know. Perhaps whether he meant intense. Maybe he meant engaged. I don't know. Because
I think intense was the operative word. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say you're very engaged. Like, sort of very in the moment and engaged, but also relaxed.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's a different spin on it.
I'll put a different spin on it.
Yeah.
It's intense might come across as slightly negative, possibly.
I kind of This is why it played on my mind. I think it was useful feedback. But I think the way I interpreted it was kind of intense, as in the whole small talk, trying to make other people laugh vibe isn't me unless you know me.
Okay, yeah.
So in a certain group of people, I will be chucking jokes out or basically innuendo constantly for comical value.
There's no better form of comedy.
Yeah. Exactly. But I think if I don't know people very well, then I'll kind of hold off until I found that boundary, and then I can play that game.
Yeah, you got to save the cock gags for when the time's right.
Yeah, and with the right people. And you kind of got to gauge, like, am I being weird, or is it
wrong.
Is this funny? Like, are we on a level here? So yeah. There's a couple of friends I've got, Liz and Angus, who basically, we called our WhatsApp group the Filth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like the initial name. It's now called something else. It was just immediately like gutter comedy straight away. If someone said anything that was minutely could be interpreted differently, then it was said.
Oh, brilliant.
Straight away.
Oh, that sounds like my kind of group. Can I join it? That sounds brilliant.
Sure. I went to see Angus on Sunday, and I made a passing comment, and immediately, because I was in the presence of Angus, immediately my brain went into innuendo mode. I went, "Oi!"
Yeah.
Whereas ordinarily I just wouldn't like. It just went proper depths, gutter.
Yeah, just disgusting.
Yeah.
Very early. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit. I mean, you and I grew up on a diet of Aid Edmondson and Rick Mail, Young Ones, Bottom. All that kind of thing, and so I think that's where it comes from. I think that kind of diet bred in us.
Yeah.
And our parents weren't averse to a bit of gutter humour.
Yeah, for sure.
Dare we say so?
I don't think it came from them though. Like the innuendo stuff, that was never.
That was more what they let us watch.
Yeah, it's consume. I suppose. Yeah, that points to their parenting, which I'm relatively happy with. It served me well.
That's right. Yeah.
Well-rounded human beings, aren't we?
Well-rounded, yeah. I think we know where the lines are mostly.
Yeah.
Not to cross them too badly.
Let's make a cocaine joke then. Hey, the topic of lines and jokes.
Maybe that's an alternative podcast.
What?
Just a gutter podcast. Why would it?
Well, you could. You could have a conversation and just point out the innuendo constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
Be quite far. I don't know where. Is that acceptable?
I don't know how consistent you could be with it, though.
Yeah.
I guess you've got to be the right group of people. I don't know. I think it's like an offhand thing, isn't it? It's like you're having a conversation offhand. You can.
Yeah.
We haven't reached that level on this podcast yet, but maybe that's the direction it'll go in.
Yeah. And you can't force it.
Hey! Oh, and on that note, if you have any innuendos that you want to send in that you've heard us say on this podcast, then please do share them. The email is the letter Q, that's q@stillwondering.com, q@stillwondering.com, and that's wondering with an A. Share your insights, your innuendos with us, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yep.
What did I say?
No, nothing. I was trying to think of some horrible innuendo to finish on.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't think of one.
Something horrible to finish on.
Just some innuendo.
See you next time. Bye. Bye. Smashed it.
Very good. Smashed it at the end.
Yeah.